seconds to reach all the streaming platforms. I'll get an icon here, and we're now live. Welcome to season 4, episode 6 of the Level Up Your Wealth podcast. We talk about the gaming industry from a business perspective. One of your hosts, Marcus Howard. Mario couldn't be here today. He had a schedule conflict, but we're excited to talk to, well, I am excited to talk to Neil. Welcome to the show, Neil.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having
So,
me.
before we jump into the conversation, man, we got a lot to catch up on, and you got a lot going on this year. Let's play a quick game of rock, paper, scissors. As we load that up, if you're tuning in live, let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to add this to the screen so you all can see. So let me share my screen. And we also have a cameo appearance because my toddler decided that he didn't want to go to sleep at 8 o'clock like he normally does. So everybody, can you say hi to everybody? All right. So we'll get this going. It's first to 10. Let me jump in here. Quick match. Yeah, first to 10. All right. So it's just like rock, paper, scissors, like you remember it. Neil, all you have to do is just, pick which one we go.
Nice. Yeah, I never used this before. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's a responsive website, so you can play this, like this directly on your computer, or you can play from your phone. I think actually anything that connects to the internet. And then it's also from an indie developer based in Spain. And above and beneath the cards, it will tell you like a history of what you selected and what I've selected.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're playing first to 10. 10. You say 10? So as we're doing this, how long have you been making games?
It's probably been 15, or not 15, no, like 13 years now, I guess.
13 years? Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to make a game when I was in the 9th grade on TI-83 Plus graphing calculator.
Mm-hmm.
My trigonometry teacher deleted it off of my calculator because she didn't want me playing video games in class.
Oh, yeah, those calculators. I remember those calculators. People used to do all types of stuff with them.
Right. So, yeah, I'm losing. He say losing? Yeah, and I lose. So, first, congratulations. Just a quick game to get the show started.
Yeah, I try to psych you out and not have you know when I was gonna pick scissors again.
But almost 15 years, right? So, talk about like how did you get into coding that got you into game development?
The coding came like way secondary. I'm still not the best coder.
Okay.
I can just do enough to get by. And then I have real coders kind of look over it and be like, you should probably do this better. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into game development. So I started off on more of the art side, and then wanted to make my assets move on their own or do certain things. And to do that, you have to learn code. So you learn a bit here and there, and you kind of just like pick it up.
That's cool. So you started on the art side, which is neat, right? Folks who aren't familiar with I can't hear you. Folks who aren't familiar with game development don't know all the different pieces that go into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So code brings it all together. But you said you started on the art side. Do you handle some of the animation, like the actual rigging?
Yeah, I do pretty much everything. Everything you can think of. It's the rigging, the texturing, the overall modeling, and like kind of importing the assets, texture, doing the shaders. So all of it. I cut the trailers. I do the logos.
Yeah, one man show. You said you got some folks working with you, but it sounds like you've solo dev'd a lot of your work.
Yeah, like when you do stuff on your own so much, you kind of just pick up everything. When the other people have skills that's really focused on and kind of what they do. So especially with indie dev, you need people who can move more agile and pick up certain things. So I kind of fill that gap within my team a lot.
Okay, and then you've now published, or you're in the process of publishing your fifth game.
This is the third one.
Okay.
But we have a couple prototypes and things that we're working on. So
okay.
yeah, that number is accurate. Just they're not out yet.
Right. And then you were recently awarded at the Big Fest back in March at GDC. I think I see that award in the back.
Oh,
Was that
that was from the year previous.
right?
During the pandemic, I was the digital showcase one. But
Okay,
this year was Xalavier.
that's
Xalavier
right.
is awesome. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, how did you learn to start doing like game art or an art in general? Is that something you just naturally picked up, or did you go to any like special school for that? Talk about like the start
Yeah,
of your.
I went to one of those like crappy trade schools, and the teachers were really nice, but like just the how that system is kind of built, it's not really learning. It's kind of just like pushing people through.
Mhm.
So I didn't really get too much out of it, but after I kind of like wrapped up that program, I took it upon myself to like actually get to learning the stuff I need to know to build a game.
And where do you do most of your learning now? Is it like YouTube? Is it Coursera? How do you continue to do your ongoing learning?
I mean, it's more a natural learning. Like as I'm building stuff, I need to know certain things, or I see someone post something that says, "Hey, this is a lot easier way to do something." So I'm really into Blender right now
Okay.
because it has a lot of good animation tools.
Yeah.
But I kind of picked. Oh, sorry. I picked up Blender because I saw somebody else using it, and then I just like downloaded it, and I watched a tutorial for the thing that I specifically need it for, and I
Yeah.
only use it for that, unless and then it naturally progresses and I learn more. So I never just kind of learn the whole thing all at once.
Okay. Yeah. I tried to learn Blender. I could never get past like the first cube. I
Yeah,
was like,
it's a
all right,
little
this is
rough.
not for me. Yeah. And so you're now working on the sequel
Yeah.
for Never Yield. Can you talk about the first game and the journey of making that, and then kind of tell us a little bit more about the new game that you're working on? I think it's almost on like next month.
Your kid's adorable. He just like I'm just chilling. I'm just being a kid.
He's enjoying his late night. But
Yeah.
I played the demo for the first game.
Mhm.
I've got little ones here, so I have a lot less time to play video games than I used to. So I
Yeah.
can say that I can't remember the last time I finished the game, but really enjoyed the demo. Can you talk about that series?
Yeah, so like one of the major points of that game was a shorter type of experience because like I had just finished playing like a 200-hour game, and I was like, this is amazing, but I really want something I could beat in a weekend like it used to be, the
Yeah,
Xbox 360 days and stuff like that.
right.
So one of my goals is to make something like more condensed, more like an action movie.
Mhm.
So it is a bit smaller, but it was just me kind of working on it for so long, up until it was finished, and then I had some help porting it and clean it up before the launch,
Yeah.
because each platform had really specific criteria for certification. So I had some help with that, but most of the development was just kind of me, just trying to make it feel good, trying to add in some cool stuff. And I thought I did an amazing job until I started working on the sequel, which is bigger and better in every type of way. I pretty much went through every system and like overhauled it. I was working with an amazing team from London, who kind of just took what I wanted to do, and they was like, "Oh, let's plus it." So the outfit system, I would set it up, and I did my screens, and they was like, "Okay, you got all the setup for it, you got the design for it. We're gonna like make it work, make it clean, and you
Mhm.
can just focus on refining it." So I have
Yeah.
more time to like just do art and like just focus on everything looking good and being polished.
Mm. When I've never seen a port done. I hear about ports all the time. Do you use Unity or Unreal? I guess Unreal. I'm
I'm in
assuming Unreal.
Unity. Yeah,
Unity.
yeah.
Oh, stop. You can't have that. When you do a port, is most observed, and maybe you have like I don't know runtime errors or compile errors or like
Oh yeah,
what?
you get all that stuff. But that's coming from a first game that was pretty much a lot of that was handled. We kind of just replaced each system one at a time to kind of
Mhm.
move forward. So we got through it a lot quicker.
You get to reuse most of the assets though, right? You don't have to like redo
Um,
animations.
a lot of those assets was like 5, 6 years old. So I had to pretty much remake all our assets.
Okay. Even when you port, you still have to remake the assets, or are you talking about for the sequel?
Oh, for the sequel. But when
Yeah.
I port, yeah, you reuse everything that you can.
Okay. Okay. And I see you have the Into the Spider-Verse poster behind you. That was the song that I had the soundtrack from that, trying to get him to go to sleep. That's part of his nighttime routine.
Oh man, and I think they have a lullaby version of it too. So
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
they got lullaby versions of so many songs. They just sound amazing.
I probably should have started with that. Let with that one then. I'll see if I try it tomorrow.
No, you gotta let him get the energy out so that he sleeps even better.
He had swim class earlier today. It didn't seem to phase him.
Oh man.
Which is your favorite out of the two? Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse?
Well, if they finish Across the Spider-Verse, it'd probably be my favorite. But I like N2. It's nice and chill.
Yeah. Okay. And have you seen the X-Men TV series, the new one?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Way better than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be fine. I didn't have any like negativity towards it, but I didn't know it was gonna be that good. It was amazing.
Yeah. My brother and sister and I always kind of joke that DC was always great at animation, like animated movies, and Marvel was always great at the live action stuff, relatively speaking, like back in late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
But Marvel is definitely this, like you said, like they hit all the high marks. I would never have expected it to be as good as it is.
Yeah, but it's also 3D. Like I think 2D and like 3D. Different categories of art at some points.
Mm-hmm. So with the game, the new game, I think you're making it multiplayer.
Kinda. It's we have a co-op mode. It's local co-op.
Okay.
Because a lot of feedback or a lot of comments were about, oh, I played this with my son. I played this with my daughter. I played this, with my brother and whatnot. And I was like, how are you all playing a single player game together? But the people just like kind of like being around each other while you're playing. So I made it an option in this game for you to take control of the second character while you're kind of making your way through these environments. So it's I always love Sonic and Tails. When I was a kid, I wanted to like play as Sonic and have somebody playing as Tails with me, kind of going through these levels. So that was like the mind state behind trying to add in a second character.
Yeah, the ball's over there. So couch co-op, like old school couch co-op.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, you have to can you play with? How about this block? Don't throw this block though.
How you gonna throw it?
Yeah. And so, how long did it take you to make the sequel for the first game, or I guess the new one?
Oh well, we're still working on it, but it's about a year. Turnaround. It was a year of full development, and pretty much a year of pre-production for me. So it was me on my own for a year, kind of get everything in order, making all the new models and writing the story, and then we went to full production with a team. And it's been about a year.
Okay, so 2 years total then.
Yeah, a little bit less, but yeah, 2 years.
Okay, how does that compare to the first game?
The first game was me by myself, and it took about 3 years. So. Yeah, it's a bit of a difference.
Did you have a smaller team? I know it was just you. So did you have any kind of extra support on the first one, or it was really compared to this new game?
Yeah, compared to this, I had no support. So yeah, it's a giant leap from just kind of working on my own, waking up and just kind of doing this in my free time and having a day job to now I get to kind of just like full time just focus on this. It's a bit of a difference. I like having a team.
Yeah, when we first connected, I had my last company, Project Q, the game discovery platform, and Malcolm and I, my twin brother, we had planned to basically be feature complete in 18 months, but we didn't have funding, as less than 1% of venture capital in the U.S. goes to startups without Black founders, right? So what we had to do was just bootstrap. We had day jobs. It ended up taking us 6 years. The milestone we had. The feature set for 18 months. It took us 6 years to achieve because life happens and most, like, prime working hours you spend working for someone else.
Yep.
Have you found that experience with other indie devs that you've spoken to?
Yeah, everybody has that kind of like story of like, no one's betting on me, so I have to bet on me. Type of thing. All the successful ones anyway. Some people get by and get lucky and things like that. But I think it's the most straightforward route is to kind of bet on yourself.
a demo for the first game on Steam? Or
yeah, it's out there somewhere. I haven't taken it down, so I hope it's still up.
Yeah. I've got the demo in my book, so thank you for working with me on the book. Definitely, I tell folks about your game every time.
I appreciate you you adding me.
Yeah. Do you have a demo? You're welcome. Do you have a demo for the second game, or
we're working on a demo for the second game? We're at the end of development. We're just wrapping everything up, making sure we test everything, because the first game is just me testing it. Now I have options, so trying to get it as polished as possible.
Do you leverage like test-driven development in your game development? Like,
what do you mean?
Your like QA team. So I used to do full-time software development, and this is something I picked up like 2 years before I stopped working full-time as a software developer. Test-driven development is like, as you build a door, like you write a test that says that the door exists, and so save that. Then like if you have an entire catalog of code testing everything as you're building the features, it'll let you know if you accidentally introduce a bug.
Yeah, I mean, we test like every couple of days on our own, and we test the new features, but we don't like write any scripts to kind of test it for us.
Okay.
Because the game is a little bit smaller. I can see that like with like a lot bigger games and AAA stuff. But I'm a little bit bigger. I'm not that much bigger,
And I saw that you've been very vocal on Twitter about kind of the new Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think it does too. I think that there's probably too much negative hype happening right now, so people get a chance to play the game, like judge it on its merits.
I don't think there's too much negative hype. I think it's just the loud people being noticed. When like I feel like it's one loud person and then 1,000 people who are just like, oh yeah, this is cool, or this is fine,
Yeah.
But we're just listening to the one loud person in the room.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So what are your plans for like DLC? Have you thought that far into the new game? I know that like when you launched the last game, you were constantly adding new content to it.
Yeah, I was trying. But this one I have a little bit of a roadmap. I'm trying to just kind of get through the launch, see how it goes, see how people feel about it. But I think it'd be pretty simple stuff, new bonus levels and outfits and things like that. It's cool little stuff, like classic games, but nothing that is separate from the game, like not a whole new story or anything like that.
Okay. And did you make the beat for the new game? Who made the beat? I heard the beat.
My friend Dan.
It's dope.
He did the first game, and going back for the second game. Was able to pay him a lot more, because the first game we worked at this tennis club together, and I was at the front desk and he was like cleaning tennis courts, and I knew how amazing he did music, because we knew each other for a really long time. And I was kind of working on the game. I didn't have any money, so I was like, hey, I'll buy you lunch if you can make me something like real quick to put here and put there. And then I've been working with him on everything. He's been working on all my games ever since.
And then you have I think I saw the soundtrack for the first game is separate from the game. You can get that now separately?
Yeah, it's on Spotify and all that. But yeah, we work with Black Screen Records to do a vinyl for the first game, working with them to do the soundtrack for the second game, as far as like kind of getting it up on like the platform so people can listen to it outside of the game.
Yeah. When you for the soundtrack, is that something that you're planning on doing like a distributed in the Spotify moving forward, or is it just gonna be vinyl?
It's definitely Spotify. I'm just trying to get out there, so if people like the music of the game, they have the option of where to listen to it. I try to make stuff easy. Some people they just vibe with the music. Some people don't care about the game. They just like, I like this music, and they just want to listen to that. So I try to put it out there for them so they can listen to it. We really don't make any money off of it, to be honest with you. Spotify doesn't pay anything, but it's just like kind of just uploading it so people can have it.
Yeah, so you haven't seen like any kind of traffic back to the game from people who listen to it on Spotify? That's not like a discovery or user acquisition channel for you?
Nah, that's not really a thing. People listen to like certain soundtracks because it reminds them of that content.
Okay.
And Spotify just doesn't pay artists unless you're like Drake or something like that. So.
All right, so it sounds like all you need to do is get a beef with Kendrick, right?
Right? And people, yeah, I'll blow up if I do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want no trouble though.
No,
I'm
no
good.
trouble, no trouble. You
I'm J. Cole in this.
just minding your business, minding your business. Do you have cosplayers? Like a community has anybody tried to pick up cosplay for the games or the?
I mean, not yet. This game like is a lot more cosplayable, if that makes sense. The first game, which is like a t-shirt and a jacket, so there wasn't much going on. But we have Karmic, who's like this powerful, almost wizard like person. You got the brothers like actually discovering their powers and kind of doing cool stuff now, and like they have more of a medieval kind of look to them. So it's definitely more cosplay-ish stuff going on. So we'll see how people feel about it.
Oh, you can't have that. That's not food. That's cool.
He's like, everything's food.
Everything's food. You're 18 months old. You have any kind of events you plan on attending or showcasing at this year or in the next 12 months?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at a couple things. I might be at Tokyo Game Show. I have a Gamescom trip planned, but we gotta see how I feel. If people like the game, then I'll show up. But if people hate the game, I'm gonna go into hiding. You won't ever see me. I'm not getting yelled at in person. But I'll be at IGN Live next month in LA, and we'll see how it goes. Like when people want to invite me to stuff, I show up most of the time.
You've been to Tokyo before, or this would be your first time?
No, this will be your first time. I'm going, for a showcase, and I'm just gonna hang out and try to like relax after 2 years of working for nonstop. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break.
And what's your criteria for evaluating events to say like Tokyo, which if my geography is right, is further away from where you live than Gamescom? So why did you? I think. That's
I got something to show this year, so I'm like, most years I don't have anything to show. I'm just kind of like in limbo. But I need to take a break. And it kind of lines up. I can kind of pull off some kind of time off for that event specifically. So I think it's good for people to kind of explore and go different places.
Yeah, and definitely want to take a break right after all the time you put into it. I was just wondering, what does Tokyo Game Show have from an opportunity perspective that's separate from like the opportunity at Gamescom?
Just different people. Compared to Gamescom, I've never been to Gamescom either, so I couldn't tell you. This is me just kind of picking a showcase to go to. I think going to Tokyo and then going into a break is like Tokyo has like Disney World and they got a lot of stuff to do. I think that's a better transition than going to Germany and then flying somewhere else, and and there's flights from Detroit straight to Tokyo. Germany, I gotta take like 3.
Not about that layover, right?
Yeah, man, I hate being in the airports.
That's how you miss flights. I'm notorious for missing flights.
Oh man.
The first time I went to E3, the only time I've been to E3, I think 2014. I missed my flight. My brother left from Savannah, and we were supposed to meet in LA. And I missed my flight. I was like, "Yeah, man, I think I'll be there like in another 8 hours." So he just kind of stayed in like LAX for like a couple days. I got there.
See, I can't sleep outside of like a hotel room or my bed, so I can't sleep on flights. I can't sleep in cars or trains or anything like that. So like I would just be awake that whole time. So I can't miss my flight. Unless they book it for the next day and I get to like go to sleep somewhere, go get a room or something.
Okay. So if you were starting your journey over from the beginning, wanted to get better prototyping, like what are some tools you recommend? Let me ask it differently. What are some tools you recommend to, let's say, like graduating seniors of high school or college who want to break into game development? What are your go-to tools?
When I started, it was way different than now. Now everything is free and everything is like industry standard, so you can get away with using whatever. I saw somebody using like Flash or something like that, writing about how they was using Flash. Animal, what's that new game that just came out? Animal something.
I don't know. Crossing?
No, it's Animal something. I can't remember the name of it. But Well, it's a new game. Everybody's talking about it, and they talking about it's 10 out of 10 or whatever. It was made in like something like small, and I'm like, yo, and people can use whatever they want to kind of make games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say learn Unity. That would be helpful because it has a lot of tools that's universal. Learn some kind of 3D software like Blender or Max or something. Whatever's free, really.
Yeah.
So that you can just learn. I would say touch a little bit of everything so that you can like understand what you like to do and what you kind of put up with doing.
And what kind of communities? I know that you're part of the Black in Gaming, but including Black in Gaming, what kind of communities have helped you along your journey the last close to 15 years? What's been the most impactful for you?
Yeah, Black Voice in the Gaming helped me a lot. Just like connecting with other people, helping me with funding in certain cases. The people at Xbox, ID at Xbox, they are always amazing. So James and that whole crew have like invited me to things, and I have met like certain people and other indie devs who I had amazing conversations with. So I just kind of appreciate everybody. Anybody who's willing to kind of help you, you should just take some time to be around and and show them some love.
That's cool. Are you going to be showcasing the demo or trailers or anything at Game Devs of Color Expo? I think that's in September.
I don't know yet. I think they had like an application thing that I sent our stuff in for. So
Okay.
we'll see. I've been there before. I showcased with them with the first game. So yeah, if they want to have me, then I'll be around.
Wait, don't put that on. You can't do that. That's not safe.
That's not safe.
Come here. Sit here.
Oh, that would be a good name for a game. That's not safe.
That's safe. I never played it. There was an indie game where you play as the baby. It's a 2-player game. You play as the baby and someone else plays as the parent, and it's like the baby's job to like get into all the stuff that babies aren't supposed to get into. And then
that sounds like work. Who ever want to play as a parent?
Right. Just work and stress.
Yeah.
So how do you, speaking of stress, how do you kind of decompress from software development stress? I know you're going on this trip, right? But in between here in large annual trips.
Oh, I don't. I just keep going and hope for the best. Drag myself out of bed. Like there's a 5-hour time difference between where I am and London, where like a lot of my team is, and I pretty much have to wake up 5 a.m. to do a 10 o'clock stand up with them, and that's been my life for like a year. So my alarm goes off, and like sometimes I just wake up at midnight, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just work for 5 hours.
Sometimes it's easier to just stay up than to try to go back to sleep. You mess up your whole schedule like that.
Oh yeah, my schedule's trash, so I'm gonna try to get that back together.
So you're working on average, let's say the last 12 months, you average 8 hours a day, 10 hours, 12 hours?
So it's like, so I wake up at like 3, so it's 3, and then I go to bed at like 8. I don't know what time that is. So 3 a.m. to 8 p.m.
18 hours? 17 hours, I think.
Yeah. I take like long lunches though. Like like at noon, I sit and watch an episode of anime, and I always fall asleep for like an hour, and I wake up like, where am I? And I go running back to my computer and like look at all the missed messages I just had.
What day is it? What time is it? That's the same thing. I don't know if you have any kids, but I have 3, and I've had that same experience with them. Like try to rock him to sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up like 20 minutes later, like, oh, I wasn't supposed to be asleep.
Yep. I wasn't. This was an accident.
Yeah. So what are some cool things? If you can give us a sneak preview, some things you've added to this. You mentioned some new systems. What kind of new things people would expect in a new game versus? I know you have the co-op mode. Anything else? I know because it was an action kind of free runner, right?
Yeah, it's hard to describe. People like to call it a runner, but it's not that. It's more like Sonic than anything else.
Yeah.
But there's so many new systems. We have the ambush system, where you have these small traps on the ground. If you hit them, you get like a cage drops on you, and you have to rapidly tap to get out of it. We have like some quick time events. We have the new outfit system, the star system. The outfit system is weapon system as well. So it's more about cosmetics, changing your look, changing your weapons, things like that.
You didn't have weapons in the last game, right? I don't remember. Well, not in the demo anyway.
Yeah, no. Like at the end of the game, they both got weapons, and then that kind of followed over. What else? There's a lot of new systems. I barely had a save system in the first game, so I expanded that. We have the new dialogue system where like we have these small little hubs. We kind of broke it. There was too much stuff in the main menu in the first game. Try to shove everything in there. So we made these hubs so that every couple of levels you get a chance to like kind of relax, and you can change your outfit, change your weapons, talk to the NPC character before jumping into like the next set of levels. So like that whole area is kind of a new kind of setting concept for me. But yeah, it's a lot of new stuff in there.
Okay. Do you think that we're looking at a new golden age of indie games? I know that we had people kind of reflected on, I guess it was like 2009 era was kind of a golden age of indie games. You think we're seeing that now?
XBLA stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think we could be looking at that. I think it's, as you mentioned, compared to especially 15 years ago, all the tools are free now. I think that there's a distrust in publicly traded gaming companies, right? And I think that there is also that's from the employee kind of professional side, and I think that gamers in general are starting to get fatigued of like rinse and repeat experiences.
Yeah,
right? So roster update on the same game.
Yeah, the same shooters, all the time. I think that's another reason like the Hi-Fi Rush thing struck a chord. It was like this one game that really stands out, and you killed it.
Yeah.
But there'll always be people that kind of step in, and you see indies taking over like those classic games that haven't been touched in a while. I know somebody did a version of what's that Dreamcast Jet Set Radio. Yeah, people doing different versions of that, different takes on classic mechanics. That's that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where people kind of aim towards.
I hadn't considered that your game was like Sonic until you mentioned that, and now reflecting back on playing it, that's exactly the game. Like having you've now said that now. If someone else asked me about your game, I would say it's like Sonic.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to, because runners are cool, but like runners are a very limited like type of thing. When you think of a runner, you think of like Temple Run or something like that, and Temple Run would never do what I'm doing with this game.
It's true. Yeah, it's almost like its own separate genre. It's a Sonic genre, yeah, for sure. Or since the never yield, right, genre.
No, it's definitely a Sonic genre.
Yeah, innovating on design. So you think that there is future for the IP to be in like not running kind of gameplay mechanic? Because Sonic has done that over the years as well.
Oh yeah, like for this one, I switched it up a lot. If we made another one, especially with how this game ends, I think people gonna really like how this game ends. Like if anything, I'm like, yeah, the gameplay. Make it to the end of the story and like watch the after credit scene and all that stuff, and then people big hype. Where it's going.
The headphone. That's not how headphones work. That's the battery to the Nintendo Switch. What do you think about like more media growth opportunities around the IP? So I don't know, like a comic book or short film, or is it any of that?
I don't know, man. I just make games. If other people want to like ask me to use the IP for certain things, I'm open to it. Just gotta look where stuff is at and look what they're trying to do.
Right. You gotta make sense.
I'm real simple. I'm just like, hey, is that cool? Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go for it. That's cool. All right. Well, do you have a specific kind of launch window for the demo that people can look forward to?
Super duper soon. We got some announcements coming up, so I want to make anybody who's like kind of planning out the marketing stuff upset. So I'll just leave it alone. But real soon, we're working on a demo. We're working on the launch date and all that. So yeah.
And when is the IGN Live? What do you know?
That's like next month during the Game Fest stuff.
Okay. Do you know Sebastian Burton?
I'm so bad with names. If you show me like, hey, this is Sebastian, this is what he does, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know the guy.
Yeah. He lives in LA. I'll connect you with him.
Oh, dope. Yeah. I'm gonna be out there for a couple of days. I ain't too much going on, so I'm just gonna be chilling.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's almost his bedtime. It's past his bedtime.
It's past his bedtime. Yeah, he's getting grumpy.
So he's starting to get grumpy. Thanks so much for your time. Before we go, where can people find you online, support you? What should people be looking out for?
Yeah, Ariel Knight on everything. Yeah, if you feel like following me, cool. I appreciate it. I try to follow everybody back, but I'm missing people. But yeah, if people have any questions that I didn't answer for you, I try to. I try to answer everything I can. So
we do have 2 questions. I missed them earlier because he's jumping around here. So let me get to those. You don't mind answering these real quick. So the first question is, for both of us, do we think that teaching BIPOC game devs to create and sustain their own studios is a good viable solution against the industry layoffs?
No, not really. Because you could teach somebody how to have a studio, where if they make a bad game, then now they out a bunch of money and a studio and whatever. So I guess I would just have people kind of just make their own stuff rather than have a studio. But I mean, if the question is meant for having people just do it themselves, then yes. But if it's about setting up a studio specifically, then I would say no.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think if you want to own your own IP, then definitely going the solo route, entrepreneur route is the way to go. But it's like grass is green on the other side, right? Like you don't know what you don't know about how a game studio operates until you have to do it all, and you know that better than most, right?
Yeah. And doing it all sucks, man. Like trying to learn everything and having to be in charge, it's terrible. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody who doesn't need it. I'd rather just have people have their specialty and go work at a studio if they can.
Yeah, and then that's this. You built your first game and you built multiple games. Nights and weekends, kind of bootstrapping, which is the same thing I did. And I talked about the expenses of that, but the other piece of it was, it could have been much more expensive if I tried to do that all at once, kind of full time, and I didn't have the money to do that anyway if I wanted to.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work out. We only hear about the success stories. We don't hear about the people who tried and lost everything. So that's why I'm like, everybody got to kind of pick their own path with that.
Yeah, but to your point earlier, now the tools are free where they didn't used to be, and there are more communities now than ever. We just mentioned Game Devs of Color. The expo is in September, and I believe they have some grant funding available. So we're starting to see more resources where we didn't have them 10 years, 15 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then obviously, if you want to go the crowdsourcing route, one of the things that Malcolm and I did for Project MQ was we actually started a Patreon for it. So while we weren't able to, Kickstarter didn't work for us, but we were able to, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like $2,000. But for us at the time, it might as well have been $100,000.
Yeah.
So over time, right? Because what you want to do is build a community, right?
Yeah.
Which is something you've done as well. And then we got the second question, and then David G really needs to go to bed. What advice would you give to someone wanting to start their own studio? So again, if you're thinking back to you starting your journey, what do you wish somebody had taught you about or told you about before you got started?
Me, when I was doing it by myself, just how hard porting and getting it on the platforms is. I think getting it onto Steam is already a hurdle for some people. But doing a multi-platform launch all at the same time, that's probably the worst.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. I'm going to connect you with Sebastian offline.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing more updates about the game. I think I signed up to be one of like the beta testers, early access. You have a form somewhere. Do you have that? Can you tell people about that while we're online? If people want to.
Yeah, I got that form. I guess it's on my LinkedIn, and if you just type in Aerial Knight, you can find one of my pages. It's posted. You'll see it. It's my face saying, "Hey, sign up here." But yeah, it's kind of just like get people's emails so that we can like notify them when the demo is out. Try to send people the demo early, give them some early access if that's possible.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, I shared that for you. I hope to get a chance to play the game early, and if not, I'll be supporting you. Again, got a lot going on over here right now.
Yeah, it's all good.
For your time, man. Let me know if there's any way that I can help. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for the questions. You saw me lose at rock, paper, scissors, but you can't win them all.
No.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you all again next week, next Thursday. Again, Neil, thanks for your time. Y'all have a great evening and a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Peace.